Excellent. Thank you, Sabrina. You're starting off our show tonight. So
Thank
let's
you,
welcome
Sabrina.
Sabrina, a new member of our AV team for our Wednesday night service. Sabrina, thank you so much for your service.
Hi, Sabrina.
Hey, Sabrina.
So
You go, girl.
we're starting our Wednesday night evening Oasis midweek service tonight. It is Wednesday, February 23rd. So welcome, 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 everyone. What is the Wednesday night Oasis? Why do we call it Oasis? Because it's a place where we can be together as a community to be spiritually refreshed between Sundays.
I don't know how we get that off.
We present our Wednesday night services in our version of a satsang style with the intention that this gathering be informal, intimate, and rich. That's the plan. Now, when I say our form of a satsang style, that means a speaker comes and speaks on our subject for about 20 minutes, and then we go into open sharing. So that's what our event will be comprised of this evening. Tonight, we continue to honor our celebration of Black History Month. But there's something interesting going on in the world of numerology. So I thought I would share it with you real quick. Wednesday, a couple of weeks ago, our first Wednesday was 2/2/22, February 2nd, 2022. So then yesterday was 2/22/22. So when it happened back in February, Freya Hermanson sent me this note, and she said, when two or more twos show up in a string like that, two or more, it is considered to be a message from our spiritual guide, and that I am in the right place at the right time, engaged in the right activity. That's the message. What's even more interesting is starting with 2/21/22. Well, that's 4 twos, right? Then the 22nd, 23rd, all the way to the 28th, we're going to have more than 2 twos. It's just going to be 2 twos everywhere. You know? So she is so excited about 20. The year 2022 has more than 2 twos. Or wears a tutu. I don't know. I've been known to wear a tutu as well. So what she's saying she's so excited about is that it's a month and a year of miracles and blessings. So that's how I'm kicking our Wednesday night off, celebrating Black history. It is a month of miracle and blessings as we deepen our knowledge in all kinds of ways in this month. So our annual theme is Wonder, Wonder Everywhere. And our monthly theme is The Inner Life. So if you're joining us for the first time, we welcome you. You found our homepage, so please go and dig deep and explore. There's lots of pages. Check out the events page. That's where everything is happening. You can find out about the dates, the times, and how it's being delivered. There's also a place in the lower left-hand corner of the homepage where you can sign up and receive our weekly newsletter, The Village News. And that will give you a week's worth of what's coming up. Those go out on Thursday. So put your email address there and submit it. We are asking everyone that's on the call, that's not speaking or on camera, to turn off their camera and their microphone at this time. This will improve the quality of our transmission tonight. And I ask you to stay for the end for the special and important announcements. We will be reading the letter for a new minister's covenant as a part of our Wednesday night ritual. So please stay for that. So now it's time to open us up in prayer. We always start all of our gatherings with a grounding prayer. And tonight, our very own administrator, coordinator, the girl behind the scenes that keeps everything going, and just a terrific practitioner and server of our community, Constance Chapman. So Constance, if you could do our prayer, that would be great.
Oh, so let's just take a breath. We've already been grounded in that beautiful meditation. And just letting yourself sink back into that place of quiet, that place of peace. Knowing that is the place of oneness. That is the place where God lives. That God lives everywhere, but it is in the quiet that we can hear it. It is in the quiet that we can feel it. So just allow yourself to go into that place and just to experience the glory of that one energy, that one love, that one divine presence. And just know that as you're feeling it, everyone is feeling it. Because it is everywhere present. There is not a place where it is not. So regardless of what the external circumstances may look like, God is right there. And so how good it is to know that that's the life, my life, and that's the life of everyone on this call. It's the life of everyone who's thought about coming to this call. It's the life of everyone who will listen to this later on YouTube. And I just know that this service is blessed and very blessed. That Carmen is open to allow that one voice, that one God, that one energy to work right through her. Just allowing the words of wisdom to flow from her into the room. And that the words land exactly where they need to land. They land in the heart of anyone, of all the people who need to hear them. And I am just so grateful for knowing this truth. I am so grateful for knowing the truth of the one. And so I just let this word go. Because it's done. There's nothing more for my human hands to do. But just to put them into a prayer mode. And bless the word. And so it is.
So it is.
So it is.
Thank you so much, Constance, for
Beautiful.
reminding us to remember in this moment. So I take a deep breath with excitement, knowing that Carmen West Jefferson is here with us tonight as our speaker. She'll be speaking on the ultimate fear buster. Can't wait to hear what that's going to be. Going to take notes. A little bit about Carmen as I know it. She's not only a practitioner here in our community, but she's a practitioner emeritus, and that's awarded when many years of dedicated, active, loyal service, contributing service to our community as a practitioner is reached. And she has that title of grandeur, Practitioner Emeritus. I love the sound of that. Also, she's doing something really great for Black History Month, and she's leading the cast book study on Monday nights in recognition of that. And I'll talk more about that during the announcements, but we're so blessed to have her here tonight. So Carmen, thank you for answering the call and being here tonight, and we look forward to what you have to say to us. So I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. You're such a gracious host. I just love hearing you all the time, as you make us feel comfortable and loved and welcome us. It's 20 years, and I thank you for acknowledging my emeritus status, 20 years service. And I'm really proud of that, having served this community or several CSL communities for over 20 years, 22 now. And I'm just really grateful to be here. Thank you all for being here, for coming here tonight. I know you're making it a special occasion to be here, and do be with me as I read some of my my talk to you, and as I also say it from my thoughts. Again, happy Black History Month. And again, just excited and grateful to be here. And the ultimate fear buster. Oh my God, when I read this, I thought, oh my, it just stayed on my mind. You can go so many ways with this, the ultimate fear buster, but knowing as I've overcome my own fears, what it is that I had to do to move past fear. And so what came up for me, and again, in honoring Black History Month, was those ancestors, our ancestors, that overcame obstacles that seemed impossible. And one person stands out for me is Harriet Tubman. And, I know there's a lot of talk about Harriet. She's kind of, her and Martin Luther King are kind of the most talked about individuals around slavery or around, Black Lives Matter or civil rights and that kind of thing. But Harriet was the bomb. Harriet Tubman, whose unshakable faith in God risked her life to save men, women, and children from slavery. Harriet used the ultimate fear buster, such as love. And I say busters because there's several of them. Harriet used the ultimate fear busters, such as love, integrity, empathy, compassion, joy, truth, courage, and curiosity to overcome her fears. Harriet connected herself to the love of God by believing she and others were better than being beholden to someone whose job was to make them inferior. Harriet connected herself to God by knowing she had a purpose. She followed her true north, her love for her people, her empathy for those who didn't want to escape, her courage to risk her life and to return to the South to save more people, her integrity to plan escapes and carry them through, because a lot of people planned them but didn't carry them through, her curiosity to wonder what it would be like to be free, self-inquiry, what is it that I'm afraid of? What is it I'm to do? And the truth of knowing that she was one with God. She was convinced that God was with her always and allowed that God presence to carry and guide her. And while she too was afraid, she persevered through the fear, standing on her faith in God, her deep, deep love of God overriding her fear because she knew who she was. She knew she was worthy. She knew she was needed. She knew she was intelligent. She knew she was wise. She knew she was beneficial. She knew she was courageous. She knew she was funny. She knew she was joyful. She knew she was loving, and more than anything, she knew she was enough. But there was something else special about Harriet. She knew that the oppressed, she knew the oppressed and the oppressors. She understood who they were by building relationships and by community. She knew where everyone was coming from, thus not making herself a victim. Fear will make you a victim. But Harriet decided not to stay in victimhood. She knew that victimhood was an act of the ego that will have you gripped in fear. She knew that fear, and I have something to read, I'm sorry, that she knew that it is through this fear, in fear, there are two powers, that we will always victimize ourselves. And in doing so, we fail to take responsibility that we are the ones in control of our thoughts, our feelings, and our emotions. When we blame something external as the cause of what we feel, we miss the opportunity to improve the relationship we have with ourselves, and therefore the relationship that we have with others. In Harriet knowing who she was and who she was, and having relationships with the oppressed and the oppressor, she knew that she didn't have to be a victim. Relationships, self-inquiry is a fear buster. Getting to know the essence of which you desire is a world that works for everyone. Tell you a little story about when I was a second-year prac student. Reverend E, one of our spiritual leaders. I'm sure you know her. And I was at East Bay Church at the time in prac studies, wanted us to up the ante on our manifestations as practitioner students. She wanted us to manifest property, whether you buy a home or a piece of land, or as she called it, a piece of dirt. Now she's from the South, so that's a Southern language down there, meaning having home or land ownership, a piece of dirt. She felt having your own home or land would set you up for generational prosperity, security, and wealth. Our first assignment was a required reading by the courage of Susie Orman's. I don't know if you remember this book, The Courage to Be Rich. Reverend E wanted us to read that. Now, while Reverend E loves Ernest Holmes, she also was a follower of a popular Black preacher named Reverend Ike, who was very popular in the 50s and 60s, who believed that God did not want us poor and abandoned as Black people or anyone. He felt prosperity was a way to self-sufficiency ordained by God. Now, in reading The Courage to Be Rich, Susie Orman explained that what it was happening, we didn't have a relationship with money. We didn't use money correctly. And that when we felt we didn't have enough of it, we became victims. So in the beginning of Susie's book, Susie sets herself up as though she's in her office and there's a knock on the door and she says, who is it? And the door opens, she said, the thing says, it's me, it's Money. Money walks in and starts talking to Susie. It's very hilarious, but it proves a point. And Money says to Susie, Susie, I need you to tell people how to treat me, how to nourish me. Don't crumple me up in your wallet. Don't let me sit in a bank. There is too much fragility and penny pitching, too much shame and misunderstanding about who I am. People should find the courage to have a relationship with me, to understand me, to get to know me. They should be educated about me and to use me in a way that I can serve them and the world. Reverend E taught us that it's more than just having a spiritual practice of reading scriptures, listening to seminars, and going to workshops. Relationships were the key. Understanding and education and talking to each other, loving each other was the key. Faith without works is dead, she said. So she instructed us in the manner of engaging with homeowners, landowners. It wasn't enough to want to have a home or to have land, to immerse ourselves in the consciousness of home ownership and or owning land. So we were observed the consciousness of a homeowner, ask them how it became about. Are they generational homeowners or are they first time? What it's like to own a home. Ask about appliances, utility bills. What's it like to sit the trash on the front lawn, mow the lawn? Who made the roof? Ask about ask to see the floor plan. How did you purchase? Did you save or procure a loan? How did you decide on your decor? How do you feel when you receive your mortgage? The consciousness of what it's like to be a homeowner, developing the relationship, because the relationship with the homeowner sets you up to engage yourself, the consciousness to have your own home. And that's what that book did. All this to say that relationship is a fear buster, along with that self-inquiry, because along with the home ownership, you get to know who you are. You get to get ready and being in that consciousness and knowing that love of God, that your word, bringing it into manifestation, is the consciousness of what you are. You are the way that you think. As you think, so are you. And so all this to say that relationship, again, is a fear buster, along with self-inquiry. Stepping out of the comfort zone of assuming, of rumors of generational beliefs. Oh, anybody can buy a home, or anybody, it's no big deal. It's, all you got to do is this or that. She wanted, Reverend E wanted more for us. She wanted it on a cellular level, whatever it is that you desire. So stepping out of the comfort zone of assuming, of rumors, of generational beliefs that don't serve our highest good, getting the gist of something and really get to know what it is you are desiring, rather than getting the gist of something, really get to know what you are desiring. Building good relationships and self-inquiry provide the foundation for unconditional love, which is the ultimate fear buster. And so I want to read something else for you. So our thoughts and our words are creative energy, the cause of our feelings and emotions. We must use them responsibly, in tune with the universal energy of love. We are beings of love. This truth that transform us and dissolve, this truth will transform us and dissolve fear. Through facing situations which trigger our fears, will mature and transform ourselves, finding within ourselves unimaginable resources. It is where our deepest realizations are found and where we understand our relationship with the whole. Whatever happens is an opportunity for growth, for immense evolution, a tremendous opportunity to rise above all our fears and become very empowered. And that's very heavy. That's awesome. Facing situations which trigger our fears, that trigger, but we got to know what triggers us. But we do know. And sometimes we don't dive deep into what is triggering us, what is going on that we have this fear. Why? Racism is a fear of duality, a misunderstanding that we are not all one, but we are all one, which has been proven scientifically. We are each other's ancestors. Well, we have each other's ancestors. We have to talk to each other about perceived differences of humanness. We must have the conversations all about us, about who we are, what we are, how we came to be, and where we want to go. Honest conversations, honest exploration, educating ourselves on different cultures, different ways of being. What is it that's really triggering us? Talk to each other. Face your fears. Talk about it. We get to know each other. We get to learn from each other. We get to rise above the rumors, the gist, I heard. Generational thoughts that was carried down, that sometimes we don't even know what we're saying or why we're thinking that way. And so I want to conclude, check my time, with this, leaving you with this. Most fears are summarized in a few false beliefs. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong page. Here it is. Forgive me. Fears come from false beliefs. If we continue to feed them every day, we give them more power. Fear has kept us in ignorance and managed us through guilt, blame, and shame. This makes us believe in a non-existent power, leading us to believe that we are not valuable. Love has the power to transform our fears, the ultimate fear buster. When we learn to love ourselves, to be gentle with ourselves, to take care of ourselves, to praise ourselves, to be our first love, we transform ourselves and we transform the world. The first step when an emotion arises is to recognize it, to identify the fear, and to know that I have the option to choose love, not fear. Let us choose to live calmly, in balance, in a state of gratitude, loving everything we do and feeling that our life is important and relevant, and everyone else's life is important and relevant. Let us contribute to making our world better, knowing that as we change, as we self-inquire, as we look into ourselves through educating, through reading, through talking, through having the hard conversations. Why am I afraid of this person? What's really going on back behind the belly button, the place where we swear no one else will come to? When we face those fears, we will ascend to a higher way of being. Let us contribute to making our world better, knowing that as we change, our world will change. If we are better, our children will be better, our family will be better, and the world will be better. A world that we can all benefit from. Thank you. That ends my talk. Back to Paul.
Thank you, Carmen, so much. Wow, you packed an awful lot in that 20 minutes there. My friend. Thank you for recognizing Harriet Tubman. I agree. The way you broke down her fear-busting methodology. She was, to me, a heroine.
Yeah.
You know, another one that I thought I would mention that is a hero to me, and I know this might surprise you, but that I'm really enamored with, because both Harriet Tubman had a movie that just came out in the last couple of years.
Yes.
I think it's Cynthia, right?
Cynthia Erivo, yes.
Oh my God, she's a heroine, man. She's
yes.
I mean, she is multi-talented, but she really brought Harriet to life. The other movie, my other hero is Fred Hampton, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And
the singer.
No,
Fred Hampton.
the Fred Hampton was the leader of the Chicago Black Panthers.
Yes, I'm sorry. Right? Yes,
and
yes.
He was assassinated, unfortunately, but he had so many slogans and sayings. Yes. He was only 19 years old. And he motivated me to look at revolution and evolution and how we can change the world by being dedicated and tunnel visioned and focused. And his movie that came out on his life was The Black Messiah. And so these two recent movies really inspired me and created new heroes in my life.
Wonderful.
And I encourage folks to go check out both of these movies, because it's an easy way to fall in love with the spirit. You know, inspiration. So inspiration, right? So
I love it.
You know, they're very inspiring, and they did great things for the world. And they're my heroes and heroines. I also wanted to talk about Reverend Ike. And Reverend E, because of my role on Wednesday nights, I'm sorry, I will open this up for discussion. She tells me that I should put the offering at the beginning. And I said, I've always put the offering at the end, because that's the way we've always done it, right? Because, you know, you let the minister reel in the money when they speak, right? And she said, no, if you put it at the beginning, you'll give the focus on it. So someday I'll change it up. But she says, but if you're not going to do that, she said, then tell people, like Reverend Ike told me, and it's almost abrasive, but you touched on it with Susie Orman, you know. Reverend Ike told her, or through the television and the radio.
In the radio, yeah.
Right? From his ministry, I love money, so therefore money loves me.
Right.
And it's a predecessor to our law of
reciprocity. Absolutely.
So,
and tithing. Yeah.
And tithing. Exactly. So I have a big revelation when we get to the offering of what happened today. But I'll share that with you later. I've set this up to open this up for questions for the next 20 minutes or comments of that nature. Carmen, you're an inspiration. You're a fear buster, a trailblazer. You know, your service here at the center for over 20 years. And I will mention, you said 22 years. That's
Yeah.
2 twos, honey.
Yeah.
So,
That's right.
so it's a
That's right.
blessing.
Oh
What
my
did
goodness.
Freya say? It's a blessing and a miracle.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
Right?
you.
So
Yeah.
that's what
Absolutely.
you are. So you're an
Absolutely.
inspiration to all of us. So thank you for here. So I'm going to open it up. I'm
Yeah.
going to ask you all to go into the gallery view. And if you're inspired to share something that Constance said that was so packed in there, lots of great stuff, to use your reaction button to raise your hand, or you can turn on your camera and do this if you're not into reactionary buttons. Okay, like
I wanted to say one thing before we start, Paul. Thank you for bringing up about the analogy of Susie Orman and Reverend E in terms of her wanting us to read that book to understand relationship, to talking, to really understanding the essence of what something is, to manifest, to have that manifest that consciousness and manifest what it is you desire. I did end up buying a home as a result of that crack assignment,
Wow.
Yes, 22 years ago, another 2-2.
See?
And it has really sparked me in us wanting to talk to, in us talking to each other, how that really builds an understanding for each other to really be in that oneness with God, and to lessen our fears around our fear of each other and what we think we are, or what we heard about each other, or that kind of thing. But it was very, very powerful, and yeah, it was just very powerful. So I just opened it up, and Dorothy has her hand up. Can I call on Dorothy?
Of course.
Hi, Dorothy.
Carmen, I want to say thank you for this evening. It has been absolutely wonderful. And we talk about fear, and you brought up Harriet Tubman, and I did see that movie that Paul, and the thing that's the fear that she had epilepsy as well, but moved forward with that. Didn't even think about the possibility of going through all of this waters and trees and all of that. All of this, she got where she needed to be.
Yeah.
And people, when she arrived at certain times, they respected her.
Yes.
They loved her.
Yes.
They embraced her.
Yes.
And I had the pleasure of having Reverend E in my home last Friday.
Oh, wow.
As she does a Zoom on Fridays. And,
yes.
And I'll let you know what it is. She left me what it's at 6.
Are you there, Dorothy? Dorothy?
Oops.
Well, her microphone's still
My
working.
house. She did this.
Oh, you went
Zoom
in and
to
out?
my house. But I remember meeting Reverend E in the foundations class. And her and Mawata were going to ministerial school at that time. And she was the practitioner. But there was something about her spirit, her love, that I opened myself to knowing that I am in the presence of someone very special. And I know where you're coming from when you talk about Reverend E being your teacher. Yes. And I'm blessing you, and I'm thanking you for this evening. It's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you. She is a
And I love the cast, and I'm sorry I can't do the cast with you this year because I'm doing the AC, but you're a fantastic teacher.
Oh, thank you, Dorothy. Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. And one of the other things about Harriet got to know her community. I mean, there were a lot of people planning revolts or escapes.
Yeah.
But there was something about her that she built these community, and she also got to know not only the oppressed, but the oppressors, so that she can do what she needs to do. She knew the kind of people were, and there was the empathy from her about them. you know, she didn't allow the fact that they felt that they needed to oppress her, but she knew that she was one with God.
Yes.
She knew who her God was. She knew where her power came from. She knew that she was enough, that she didn't need to have somebody tell her what to do 24 hours a day. And I think that in itself is very powerful about Harriet Tubman. And even to go back, because she knew, and that's that relationship she had built. And even with the oppressors, in that they thought of her as this docile woman, obedient, but she needed to be the way she needed to be in order to get things done. But with that in hand, and knowing that, she knew when to leave, she knew how to plan, she knew to have allow God to guide her and use her, and never mind about God is all there is, regardless of appearances. She was the epitome of that. You know, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Also knowing the consequences that if she got caught, but regardless, she knew the oneness with God that she had was just, it's amazing. I mean, to be on that deep of a level.
Kirsten had her hand up, and
I'm sorry.
I think Dennis, I think, and had his hand up also. So Kirsten, you want to go next?
Thank you, Peggy.
No problem, honey. Unmute yourself.
Kirsten, yeah, okay.
No, I was holding my neck. I have a neck ache, so I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
No problem. Oh, okay. She didn't want her hand up. Okay.
No,
Any other questions?
Dennis, wait a minute. Dennis, did you have your hand up earlier? Okay.
I want to say one thing, Carmen, about Harriet Tubman. I went to a celebration of Harriet Tubman on a Sunday service with Ruth down to not East Bay, but
Heart and Soul.
And their minister, forgive me, I have issues with names. I will tell you that up front. Y'all know that, Peggy Cook, right? So I shared that last week. But
Reverend Andriette.
Reverend Andriette. She had us go into meditation. So we all closed our and made us close our eyes. And then when we opened our eyes, she had a life-size cutout of Harriet Tubman. Now we all know how big Reverend Andriette, she ain't a giant by any means, but she was demonstrating that Harriet Tubman was really quite short.
Yeah, really tiny. Yeah.
She was tiny, and that for this woman with all this power and all this energy and all of this vision, it was hard to believe. It was all, and the treacherous physical things she did, like Dorothy said, to go through the jungle and through not the jungle, the woods and the water and the swamps and the highlands and the lowlands. She was only like 4'2".
Yeah, tiny.
How did all of that power get in that little space?
Yeah,
I would expect
because it was the consciousness.
Exactly.
It was the consciousness. She was on purpose.
Yeah,
she was on purpose.
Thanks for letting me clarify that. I thought Andrea did an excellent visual to demonstrate that.
Yeah, that you did. Thank you. Yeah.
Dodie, did you want to go next, Dodie?
Yes, please. Carmen, that was a wonderful talk.
Thank you.
I get from these talks is what we think right now. It's kind of like when we're in current, we think that's the way the world is, and we migrated so that we're new. This stuff is new, but it feels like when you're talking about people long time ago, the depth that they had of the consciousness of a presence of God, of energy, of courage, all this stuff lets us know that there were many people that had the same awareness
absolutely
of the truth of their being at that time in that situation. So thank you very much. I thought it was excellent. And the other thing is when Dorothy was talking, I went to I can't think of the author's name, but there was this exhibit at the Oakland Museum, and he had pictures of Black artists, and he showed some little small pictures of Harriet Tubman trail. it was realistic in that he showed snow and a little tiny fire out there, and
wow,
how brave she was.
brave.
You know, I have a problem with being somewhere where there's no street lights. So
it ain't nobody chasing you, huh?
No. It just bothers me because I went to Alabama one year, and as a young adult, and I grew, like I said, I grew up in Las Vegas, so we had street lights. Kind of surprised to see how dark it is with street light. Picture. He had maybe 3 or 4 little segments of pictures, and they showed the elements and everything. And it just, even then, looking at it, I'm thinking to myself, she was brave. There is no,
brave.
You know, to be out there in the dark. Enough. Okay. Just.
No, you're right. I mean, I that's why I marvel at her, you know. But, you know, again, her consciousness, you know, her deep belief in God was just so steeped, you know, unshakable, you know, till she weathered all that. And and she was tiny, and, you know, all the things she went through, snow, sleet, and did it again, not just one time, three or 4 trips, you know. And trusted and trusting God. So these safe houses, she didn't know, you know, if these whites were going to honor their word in hiding the slaves. She didn't know that, you know. She just knew God. That's all. She just knew God, you know, and in that, and we can do that too. But I love the fact that the relationships that she built with the community in order to do God's work, and knowing her oppressors. And I think, you know, as a world working for everyone, we need to do more talking, more education, more getting to learn each other, getting to know each other, you know, on a level that, like Susie Orman, when Reverend E was, when the money went into Susan Orman's office, you know, and told Susie she wanted to help money tell people about who money was, so that money could be used more effectively and efficiently and more worldly. You know, you asking these questions that seem nosy, you know, asking all these questions, but you want to get to the essence of who that consciousness is. You want to get to that cellular level, to when you're manifesting your desire, that it comes up, because, you know, otherwise it's just shallow not to. You're running on assumptions, you're running on gist, you're running on old beliefs, you know, and we have to elevate ourselves to a way of asking those hard questions. You know, who are you? What are you? What do you want? Why? I'm afraid of you because, you know, and move it through there. And Harriet exemplified that. She exemplified that, just being so steeped in God, you know. And as I say this, you know, there's areas of my life where I realize how I've been playing small, you know, where I need to you know, up that level to where I just depend on God totally, regardless of the appearances, you know. So yeah, Constance had her hand. Thank you so much, Dodie. Constance.
I'd really love it if you would put in the chat or go over those the characteristics or the techniques or the tools that you use for fear again. And then also I wanted to bring up one. I read Ta-Nehisi Coates' The Water Dancer earlier, and in there he talks about Harriet Tubman. Actually, I'm not using the right word because it wasn't really shape shifting, but her consciousness was so strong that she transported people without actually having to be on land. That they actually were able to move from one area to another through spirit. I know that there were, you know, that his book was, that some of the reviewers didn't believe because it was too far out for them. But I think, you know, that she probably had that, whether that's true or not, I don't know, but her consciousness was so strong in the oneness that I think it's possible.
Yes.
I think it is really possible that you know, when the consciousness is there, then there's all sorts of things that are possible that we don't even have a clue about.
That's right. Absolutely. Exactly. Miracles, absolutely.
Yeah, and
Thank you, Constance.
when I worked in the First Nations community, I used to hear that a lot about people shape shifting, and I
Mm-hmm.
totally believed it. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
why wouldn't I?
Yeah, exactly. I think that was Reverend E's her purpose in having us go deeper with buying property, instead of just parking lots and different things we had been manifesting as Prac 2 students, to really think on a larger scale, a deeper, a scale that where we had to go really deep into in manifesting something like that. That oneness with God that you spoke of, Constance.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
So if you get a
Carmen,
chance,
can
put those
Carmen, if
in the chat.
I was going to say, can you go to the beginning? I know your paper is right there at the beginning of your talk. Can you speak the qualities that you referenced about Harriet Tubman? And I'll type them into the chat real
Okay,
fast.
sure, I can. Let's see. Whose faith, unshakable faith in God. Let's see, connected to
It was
herself. Oh yeah,
courageous and
yeah. Harriet connected herself the love of God by believing she had everybody known beholden to. Okay, Harriet connected herself. She had a purpose. She followed her true north. Empathy for those who didn't. Okay, so yeah, I I'm sorry. Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, Harriet used the ultimate fear busters such as love, integrity, empathy, compassion, joy, truth, courage, and curiosity. What would it be like to be free? What would it be like to be free? We underestimate curiosity. Well, sometimes I do underestimate the power of curiosity.
Curiosity.
Mhm.
Reverend Jerry has her hand up whenever you guys are ready.
Hi, Reverend Jerry. Thank you for being
Hi.
here.
Hello, Carmen, and thank you so much. I love Harriet Tubman. She is such an inspiration for me always. And I love the way, well, thank you for sharing those God qualities that you just shared.
Mhm.
And I really love the way you weave the whole idea of the prosperity consciousness into this talk as well, because it is about faith and trust. It is about the curiosity and the knowing, and it is about being careful. It's about protecting yourself. And I know that she felt that protection from the divine and that she was inspired, and with our money matters too. It's the same thing. It's that we take care of our money, we bless our money, we fold our money appropriately, we don't crumple it up in a ball and just shove it in our purse. And so most of the prosperity teachings and the financial facilitation that I've done is related around that. And it's all one. It's all about consciousness. It's all about our depth of trust and belief and knowing that we are always protected and divinely guided. And she's always an inspiration for me in that,
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that you brought her into the talk this evening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you. You're a blessing.
Thank you, Reverend Jerry.
You're welcome.
I wondered about the talk with Susie Orman, just in the analogy again of the connectedness of getting to know something, the relationship. Reverend E was really about walking the talk, practicing what you preach. As she said, it's not enough just to sit and read scriptures. Where is it? Sit and read scriptures, attend seminars and workshops. We had to get out there and practice, and asking that question and developing relationships, I would have never thought to ask I would have never thought to hang around homeowners wanting a home. I would have never thought that, I would have never thought to ask them, let me see your floor plan and what's your roof made of. But, and getting to know each other and building a world for everyone and having those relationships, where are you from? What makes you tick? What in you being, what's like being an African American in the world today? Who taught you that you thought as a white person, who taught you that you thought you were better than? Who put that in your consciousness? Let's talk about it. Let's get to know each other, you know. And even though if you don't believe in white supremacy, what do you think about it? We need to have those hard questions with each other to move forward. And that's what the analogy of the house and her wanting us to dig deeper in consciousness and be in action of the consciousness that really stirred me to really understand it's really about relationship and self-inquiry around being that ultimate fear buster.
And I'd like to say that you said something that was really important to me, and it's from Ernest Holmes. Faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
So it's not just merely having the faith, it's about the movement of it all.
It's about the movement. It's about the
you.
movement. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Dorothy.
I just want to say, since a lot of you may not know Reverend Eloise, she has written a book, and her book is called Elaborations, a compilation of writings. And you can get this book on Amazon, she informed me. I happen to have a personal signed copy that she gave me. I'm really
I got a personal signed copy. I got a personal signed
But
copy.
she has compiled this book, and if you're interested, it is on Amazon, okay? So
All right.
that's what I wanted to say. And it's just things, writings of hers and her interpretation of our movement. It's awesome, folks.
Wonderful.
It's awesome.
Wonderful.
Dorothy, what's the name of the book? I'll try to type it in the chat.
The name of the book is Elaborations.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Okay, a compilation of writings
Okay.
by Reverend Dr. Eloise Oliver.
Sounds like we have a new book reading we got to start soon. On Dodie?
I know.
Yes.
Okay. You got it, Peggy,
I
honey?
think so. All right. I just sent it to everyone. I think that's it. Elaborations, compilations of writings. Reverend Dr. Eloise.
Thank you.
Dodie?
Carmen, I wanted to say a little bit about, you mentioned Reverend Ike. I can remember, I shared with you guys, I'm from Baptist church, but there was some reluctance to his presentation.
Oh, yeah.
He did that, you know, some, what did you say? I love money and money loves me.
Yeah.
It's almost as if it was removed from our traditional understanding and acceptance. Do you have a book or any of his writings, or because I don't know if they still circulate his stuff, but being where I am now in consciousness and awareness, I would like to have read something. And I know I didn't read anything when he was existing.
I think there's something on Amazon that you can get. I would Google Reverend Ike first, and they could tell you about some of his readings. But he was very flamboyant and kind of against the grain of, you know, all he's about is money, all he's about is money. But there was this poverty among Black people at the time, and he felt that God wasn't about poverty. You know, he said, that's not the God I serve. You know, the God I serve wants us to be abundant and prosperous, you know, and his way of being and doing it, you know, like you said, it was kind of shocking to a lot of conservatives, but I think he was just a little before his time, you know.
I agree.
Yeah, he was just really before his time, but Reverend E reintroduced him to us as practitioner students about his talk and the consciousness of money and having the relationship with money that Susie Orman talked about, you know, some 30 years later, you know. Yeah.
I called him the Black Susie Orman, okay?
Exactly.
That's what he was, the Black Susie Orman, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
That's why she made us
Are you
read the
sure
book.
that
It was
Susie Orman
required.
wasn't the white Dr. Ike,
Yeah, there you go.
since he came first?
The white Dr. Ike. Say
Yeah.
that again?
Susie Orman.
Oh, Susie Orman.
Yeah.
Oh,
Reverend Ike.
yeah, Reverend Ike. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
He was
he did
quite
come
flamboyant.
first, okay.
He
Terry
came
Cole
first.
Whitaker, who's a famous DSL Science of Mind
Yeah, metaphysician.
minister, she attracted me to this philosophy based on her idea that prosperity is your divine right.
Right.
Prosperity is our divine right. And that resonated with me. And it got me where I am today. That started me.
Yeah. Well,
Reverend Jerry has put something in chat about Reverend Ike.
Oh, thank you, Reverend Jerry. But Reverend Ike,
link here, if you want to click on that link, Dodie, it should take you in the chat right to a book in Amazon.
Thank you very much.
I want to say real quick, Paul, that Reverend Ike started all that talk, in terms of God and money, being that part of that prosperity, and just what you said, he started all that. But again, one of the things Harriet said that was very important in terms of consciousness, she said, I would have saved more slaves if they had known they were, if they had known, I would have freed more slaves if they knew that they could be free. And so it's all about the consciousness. At the time of Reverend Ike, a lot of people coming out of slavery, because we're coming right out of Jim Crow when he was around, didn't believe that they could have money like that. And he had extended his consciousness above that. And so he was trying to tell that, and that's why he wasn't as popular, But Susie came along years later and kind of rearranged but the same philosophy, put it in a book, and Reverend E noticed that right away. That's why it was required reading as a prac student to read The Courage to Be Rich. It was required. It wasn't one of the books that you can read if you want to. It was required. She wanted her practitioners to be steeped in prosperity and consciousness, and also in relationship, and action. Yeah. So
you just said courage, and that was one of the qualities of Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman, and her curiosity. What would it be like to be free? Curiosity. What would it like just to move through the fear and go, curious to have relationships with each other, black and white, brown, white, transgender, able body, non-able body, all that, young, old,
Carmen, this
And
is
Carmen, I'm happy to tell you have 5 AC students who are here with you today.
All right, wonderful. Yes. Oh.
Carmen. This is Karen speaking.
Hi, Karen. Yes, honey, I can hear you.
It's all very interesting to me. But is this the same Susie Orman who used to go on like KQED and stuff?
Yes, that's her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's a metaphysician. She is. Yeah.
I didn't really watch her that much because she was always talking about money, but I never really got the thing. So thank you. She's gone a little bit away from the spiritual path, but that was one of her first books. Her earlier books are more about spirituality and money, and then she kind of went, straight to the, talking about KQED.
KQED. About how to, buy a house and.
She went into education more.
Yeah. Okay.
Financial advisement. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize she really had the truth, because I always heard about just the money part. Okay.
The metaphor of money knocking on her door and coming into her office and sitting in a chair and say, you know what, Susie?
Yeah, I love it.
That alone, I mean.
That's worth the book right there.
That's worth the book right there. That is worth the book right there. And money just starts telling her what she needs to tell people. Money said, I'm tired of being crumped up in people's wallets. They're not using me. They're not honoring me. They're not. We don't know each other. They need to get to know me.
And if you love me, then I'll love you back.
There you go. There you go, Paul.
Thank you.
It is 8 o'clock, believe it
wow.
or not, and we still have a bit of our program to do, but it was worth the overtime, Carmen, for me. And I
Thank
think
you.
if we could all show our appreciation, Carmen, look at everybody clapping and waving. And make sure you check the chat, Carmen. There's some comments at the beginning from all of us or some of us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
If you don't mind, I'm going to move into the stuff, the business part of the show, but thank you so much. And then we'll call you back at the end to close us out in prayer.
Okay.
So Dr. Barbara or whoever's showing, who's showing tonight? Is it Dr. Barbara?
It's Lucian. Lucian's picture is up there.
No,
Yeah.
we're trying to figure out who's doing the PowerPoint.
Who's doing the sharing? I think it's,
Oh, okay.
Constance is still doing it. Yeah, Barbara's still
okay,
working.
thank you, Constance. Okay, here we go, my friend. Announcements. This Sunday, February 27th, practitioner and ministerial student Lucian Baker will be speaking on the subject also of the ultimate fear buster. I dare him to go after his Auntie Carmen's talk, okay?
He's going to be wonderful. He's going to bring it home for you.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. He will be bringing a rousing close to our celebration of Black History Month. So join us on Zoom with meditation at 10 and service at 10:30. As you know, because of the recent rise in the coronavirus, our Sunday service has gone back in Zoom for the rest of this month. Our intention is to make sure our spiritual family is safe. We appreciate you. Next Wednesday, March 2nd, practitioner Regina Buckwalter will be starting our March theme of play as she speaks on playing Twister with God.
Oh,
okay,
nice.
Here we go. Meditation
Nice.
at 6:30, service at 7. The Wednesday evening services will remain indefinitely on Zoom. Diversity Circle is celebrating Black History Month this Friday, February 25th at 7 p.m. with a discussion and more. Come join practitioner Doug Myers and Sri Devi Ramanathan to find out what the more is. A love offering is gratefully accepted for this event. Check out the events page. And don't forget, as we continue celebrating Black History Month, we have 2 wonderful groups for you to consider joining. As we said earlier, Practitioner Emeritus Carmen West Jefferson is leading the CAS book study. It started Monday, February 7th through March 28th. It's from 6:30 to 8 on Mondays, but you can still join and catch a little bit more of it. And she wants us to consider exploring the consciousness concerning difference and hierarchy in the United States. By becoming aware, we then have the power to change that consciousness to one of unity. Also happening every day at 12 noon, Guidance for a Spiritual Journey meets. Our noontime spiritual journey started 1 year ago for Black History Month, and it never stopped. It's an annual thing now. The daily readings and discussions are rich and full of wisdom. When Black History Month ended a year ago, we just kept going. Each day we read from Guidance for a Spiritual Journey by Dr. Daniel Lee Morgan, who served for over 40 years as founder and minister of the Guidance Church of Religious Science in Los Angeles. So please join us. Check those out on the events page. The season for nonviolence is also underway, and for the remainder of the 64 days, we will put our consciousness and attention on nonviolence. Did you forget to sign up? It's not too late. Please sign up today by going to the events page. The Oakland Center's annual meeting is Friday, March 4th at 6:30, and that will be in Zoom. Everyone is invited to attend. Official voting members should already have received a notice and a ballot by email this week. Make sure to check your spam and or junk folders if it doesn't arrive in your email inbox. And the day after that, join practitioner Constance Chapman on Saturday, March 5th at 10 a.m. for a morning of transformative play. Do you remember the joy as a child of finger painting and playing with paint? Tap into that joy again or experience for the first time. The purpose of this 3-hour workshop is to guide you to articulate and embrace the gifts you are carrying inside, whether you call it a gift, your personal medicine, or your contribution. We all have our unique traits and skills we bring to our family, community, and the world. This workshop is planned to be in person, and we ask that everyone be vaccinated. All supplies and snacks are included. Space is limited, so register now on the events page. The cost is $45. Breaking news has come upon us. Oakland Center is aware of the recent revised recommendations from Alameda County and the city of Oakland concerning indoor gatherings. We will be opening soon. When we have a firm date of reopening, we will be requiring proof of vaccination, valid photo ID, and masks will still be required. So let's take a minute and read the new minister's covenant together. If you need a copy to read daily, you can download it from the website. I'm going to ask you not to have your microphone on when you read it. It'll allow me to get through this a little more clearly. So I thank you for that. So read along at home. I'm not microphone. My new minister sacred covenant prayer. And I breathe this in a moment of spaciousness to allow it to embody me, Paul, as I am. There is only one life.
One life.
This life is
Life
good.
is God. Good.
This life is God. This life is my life now. And knowing that I am one with this life that is God, I therefore know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which includes the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to reveal spirit, I therefore know that my new minister is a revelation of God as wisdom. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which has been promised by Spirit, for it is written, I am filled with divine wisdom. I allow divine mind to fill my mind now. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister revealed before me as unity in the community. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing this truth about myself. For I am inspiring unity in diversity, embracing and nourishing our community. I am awakening the wisdom within. I am healing and expanding our community with the power of love. I am engaging the community and building a world that works for everyone. I am deepening my family consciousness. As now I accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know that they are revealed in a way that illumines spirit and serves the highest and greatest good of all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful God is gracious, and so it is. Ashe.
Ashe.
I want to remind everybody, for information on all that's going on at our Oakland Center, visit our website, which is how you got here tonight. Be sure to check our events page, and don't forget you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook for special updates and content you'll only find by liking and subscribing to OCSL. So let's take a minute and do our offering. So as I gather before you, we're going to read this statement, but I have a mini story to share with you. Today on Dr. Dan, February 23rd, the subject was building a strong church. And he showed us ways that we could do that. But as with every Dr. Dan reading, he ends with what we call his zinger. This is a sentence that he, or two, that he says to really bring home the idea. And when I read it today, I laughed out loud and I said, can I please bring this? I asked Dodie, can I please use this in the offering for Wednesday night? And she said, absolutely. So with Dodie's blessing, I read to you what the fabulous Dr. Daniel Lee Morgan zinger for today is. He says, Question, colon, why the special trips to church at midweek? Question mark. Quote, I have a bad heart and I don't want God's money in my pocket when I move on.
Oh.
End quote. So he gave us a little kickstart for our offering this today at noon. So take your offering, whatever it is, in time, treasure, and talent, hold it close to your heart. I love money and money loves me.
Mhm.
I love time and time loves me. And I love talent and talent loves me. I hold those close to me. I build that relationship. I am going to put my Harriet Tubman hat on right now in those God qualities, knowing the truth that this gift is God in action. It does good work in the world and blesses creation. So I release my digital bowl and pass it to Carmen and to everybody in on the squares there, as you can deposit it that way, mentally programming money into our digital basket. Or you can go to the website where everything else lives on the homepage, and there you will see ways by donating with a credit card, or you can mail in a check to the address. It's all right there on the homepage. If you know about texting, you can text an amount to 510-327-3431. It has prompts will guide you through. And if you use Zelle in any capacity, there's a special place at giving@oaklandcsl.org in the Zelle world. 4 great ways to contribute your financial support here to the center. Oh, we are so, so very blessed. There's some thank yous I want to say in gratitude for your contributions, time, treasure, and talent. That's what Reverend Jerry tells me. I think they're invaluable. I want to thank Reverend Jerry for doing our grounding prayer today, and Carmen for everything you did. Inspiration of everything that you did tonight. It was quite excellent. So thank you, Carmen. Reverend Jerry for opening us up in prayer. The Zoom team, Peter and Peggy and Dr. Barbara and Helene and Alice and our newest member, Sabrina. Thank you all, as well as Constance Chapman and Joan Russell, who do all the administration behind the scenes, and my buddy Zoe DeMuro, always ready to back us up in any capacity here. He holds the high watch for us during the service, and I am so grateful to you, Zoe, and all of you. Thank you for being here. So with that in mind, I think I've covered everything but the closing prayer, and that I am going to turn over to our gifted and wonderful inspirational speaker tonight, the fabulous Carmen West Jefferson.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. And again, thank you everyone for being here tonight. What a full service. How wonderful it is. So just staying in this consciousness of one love, of oneness, of joy, curiosity, a world that works for everyone. As we came together tonight, with 2 or more are gathered, that too, the miracles, blessings that Paul shared with us, knowing that we are in the miracle and blessing business, that we are one with God and in that love of God, just being so grateful, Father, Mother God, so grateful for this service, so grateful for everyone who came tonight, those who couldn't come, those who will be looking at the live stream later, knowing that you are blessed. This meeting has just been absolutely wonderful. You know, what has been said is needed to be said. What is heard needed to be heard, as we lifted our consciousness and knowing with some more strategies in terms of us being more together, more in oneness, loving each other, talking to each other, being with each other, learning from each other, self-inquiry. Thank you, God. Thank you so much for this coming together. And I release my word into the action of the law, knowing that as it is done, it is so. And let us anchor this in saying Ashe,
Ashe.
Amen,
Amen.
and so it is.
And so it is.
So it is.
Yes. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Sabrina.